Hi everyone. Well, let's get organized. Let's cook and freeze and do this before Thanksgiving. First tip, just strategize. I have to write everything down on paper, whether you use paper or your phone or iPad, just get it written down from start to finish. And this is my turkey that I have been making for 9 years, and this is last year's. It's a cheesecloth turkey, an old Martha Stewart recipe. This is the end result. It's so caramelized, so moist, and so delicious. And what would Thanksgiving be without a homemade pumpkin pie? And this year I'm having a pecan pie, and the pecans are from my own backyard. Stay tuned. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk to you about what I do to prepare for Thanksgiving and the holidays, and just share with you a couple of just really, I think, foolproof tips that really help get me through sometimes that very stressful period. First of all, I'm a list maker, and I say anything that you have to do to survive the hecticness of the holidays and everything that you're supposed to accomplish before that particular day arrives, I say do it, whatever works for you. For me, it's making a list, and I basically start with a list of what our dinner is going to be, whatever it is that I'm preparing, turkey or ham or whatever. I start from the very basics of the meat, and I just list every single thing that we'll be having, right down to the dips, the relish trays, the desserts, and then I break it up into sections. I start with the turkey, and I list everything I need to prepare the turkey, and then the dressing and everything I need for the dressing. Then I kind of do once through in my pantry, and I make a list of all the things that I need to make the pumpkin pies or my strawberry pretzel salad, and I check off what I have available in the pantry, and then I write down what I need to purchase at the grocery store. And then I try to clear a little area or a shelf, or I use my 31 bags, and I put everything that I am going to be using to prepare my meal in that particular shelf, or on that particular shelf, or in those 31 bags. And then that way I know everything that I need to make whatever entrees I'm making, or desserts or dips, is all contained in the same area, and it makes it super easy, quick to find. And then that way I'm not scrounging through my pantry looking for something that I need. So that has really helped me a lot, and I started really putting aside the supplies that I buy ahead of time in one designated area, even if it's a closet somewhere where you stack up all of your canned goods, or your boxes of crackers, or things that don't have to be refrigerated, of course, in that area, so that when you do go to prepare, then you can just pull that off of that shelf, or out of those bags that you're using, and that way everything is just all contained. It makes it super easy. And about 9 or 10 years ago, I was having we were living in Illinois, and we had family in Texas, and it was my husband's 50th birthday, and I was going to surprise him with his family coming to celebrate his birthday and Thanksgiving holiday. And that was a lot of people, and those people were also staying at our home. So I had a lot to do, and I had started preparing for this surprise for several months, as I had to, because not only was I hosting this big, enormous Thanksgiving dinner, I also had to think about hosting them to stay at my house, and to keep it a surprise. I pulled it off, amazingly pulled it off. Honestly, I sometimes think about it and think, how did it ever work out the way it did? But it did. But one of the tips that I am going to share with you is this. I prepared my turkey ahead of time. And when I say ahead of time, I mean the weekend before, and sliced it all up, put it in freezer bags, froze it, and then served it on Thanksgiving Day. Now, before you turn your nose up at it or think, oh yuck, I said the same thing. One day at work, I was having a conversation with a group of women that I worked with, and I was like just saying, oh my gosh, I have so much to do for this holiday because I'm having a surprise birthday. Am I crazy? For my husband, all his family's coming from Texas, and then they're staying for the Thanksgiving holiday, and I must be just out of my mind nuts. And one of the girls said, well, for Thanksgiving, for us, it's kind of a combination of a family reunion that we all get together once a year, and it's during this time of year, and it's for Thanksgiving because, you know, with all the families and, you know, their kids and their marriages and their grandkids and great grandkids and nieces and nephews, it was too much for them to coordinate everybody's scheduling, so they all decided that they would all come together every Thanksgiving, and that included, she said, anywhere from 35 to 40 people. She said everybody had a job to do and everybody was assigned to bring, you know, certain dishes. But she said her mom was usually one of the ones who would cook a couple of turkeys and a few hams, as did some of the other folks. And I said, well, that's a lot. She goes, yes, but my mom cooks her turkeys. She slices them up. She freezes them in freezer bags. She adds broth to the freezer bag with the sliced up meat, and she lays them all out on cookie sheets, puts them in the freezer, freezes them all flat. She said, and then the day of, she puts them in big roasting pans, and so they're like in broth cubes, all of your slivered meat, and steams them very slowly. And I'm like, no. So I actually called her mom and asked her about this process, and I'm like, it just sounds like it would be a TV dinner turkey. And that was kind of one of the comments I got from one of our family members, like, who serves a turkey TV dinner on Thanksgiving and does the turkey ahead of time? I've never heard of such a thing. Well, I kind of put my nose up in the air and thought, oh, that just doesn't sound right. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized it's going to free up my oven. I'm not going to have that major mess to clean up of the turkey carcass, and, you know, just, it's grueling that day to have to cook everything into one oven and coordinate, you know, when the turkey's going to get done and when you have to put this in or that in. So I thought about it. I talked to her mom in great depth about how to go about this because I was so nervous, and I didn't want to spoil the surprise and let my husband know that we were having all of his family over. He knew we were having friends over for that Thanksgiving year, but that most of our family members weren't going to be able to make it for the holiday. So I said, you know, somebody at work was saying that they make their turkey ahead of time, like the weekend ahead of time. They get it all cut up, cleaned up, and it's just perfect. You know, and then that day you just use your electric roasters, or if you don't have an electric roaster and you want to put it in the oven, then you can, and you just put it on low heat and it steams. And so he was like, well, let's try it. You know, so the weekend before Thanksgiving, that's what we did. I made my turkey the way I traditionally make it, and I have been making my turkey with a cheesecloth. It is a Martha Stewart turkey basting recipe that you use cheesecloth, wine, butter, and broth, and you baste your turkey with this cheesecloth over it. You get the most beautiful, gorgeous, caramelized, crisp-skinned turkey. It's moist, delicious, oh, wonderful. So when I told my family how I was going to prepare Thanksgiving dinner and that I was making the turkey the weekend before, one of our family members kind of squawked about it and said, that's like eating a turkey TV dinner. I don't understand. I like to see the turkey coming to the table, you know, with all the dressing, and I'm like, well, too bad. sorry, it's not going to happen because I'm going to do this way. And I took a picture of the turkey when it came out of the oven, and I removed the cheesecloth from the turkey, and it was just this gorgeous, beautiful turkey. I took a couple of pictures of it whole, and then on Thanksgiving Day, I said, everybody, this is what this plate looked like when I took it out of the oven. And honestly, that family member said, this is the best turkey I've ever had. It was absolutely moist, delicious. And so I have been making my turkey this way for years. So every weekend, and it's this weekend is holiday Thanksgiving weekend, that's when I'm going to be cooking my turkey, and I put it in the freezer bags, and it's delicious on Thanksgiving Day. And then my oven is open and free from early in the morning, and I also do that with several of the casseroles that I make, such as sweet potato casserole. I make that ahead of time and I freeze it. Green bean casserole, I make that ahead of time and I freeze it. And so it's so nice to have everything frozen and prepared. And then on that day, I write on the foil the instructions for baking. And if I've covered it in saran wrap, I also say, remember to remove the saran wrap. And then everything goes into the oven. It fits. I cut my potatoes, peel them the night before, and I just submerge them in a pan of cold water. And then they're ready to go the next day. I also, in preparing my own stuffing or dressing, whatever you're familiar with calling it, I saute my onions, celery, the spices, mushrooms, all of that ahead of time, put it into freezer containers. Then when I'm ready to make my dressing, which I will usually make the day before Thanksgiving, because I do not stuff the turkey with dressing any longer. I stopped doing that several years ago. And I have it all ready to go. I dry my bread cubes out, I throw my sauteed veggies in it, and then I use the broth from cooking the inside of the turkey, and I make my own broth that way, and then I just use that to flavor my dressing. So there's a lot you can do to prepare for the holidays ahead of time, especially if you're hosting at your house and you have, a bazillion things to do. It's so nice to have that oven available and free, and knowing that that big mess is already cleaned and cleared, and all you're doing is presenting your turkey all sliced up on a platter that's delicious, and I don't think you'd be disappointed in it. Another tip is, like I said, whatever you need to do to be organized, do a checklist in your pantry. See what you have available that you can use. Write down your dinner from top to bottom and then dissect it out. Check your favorite recipes. I have a couple of books here. This is our family recipe book that I put together. That I put together years and years ago, and it's a lot of recipes that we have tried, that I've used. It's a lot of recipes that I want to try, but some of our most favorite recipes are contained in here. And so when I'm making my sweet potato casserole, I know it's in here. I just go in there and check mark all the ingredients that I need for it. Strawberry pretzel salad is one of our favorite salads. I know you can go right on Pinterest or the internet and find these recipes easily, but it's so nice to have a place that you have at home in your own stock that you can get to easily. And one year I even put together a recipe scrap cookbook, and it's just all of our favorite recipes, from main entrees to vegetables to cookies to baked goods, all for the holidays. So between these two books, this is where I get my dinner from. And it's just whatever you can do to make your life easy. And if it wasn't for writing things down, I don't know where I'd be, because even with everything written down, as soon as I got home, I realized, I forgot 2 things, but they weren't on here. So it's okay, because it's kind of standard. You know, my husband always knows, oh, okay, you came home from the grocery store, you got everything you need. What time tomorrow do you need me to go to the store? Just the way it is. So I just thought I'd share with you a couple of my easy tips that I do to make the holidays a little bit less stressful, and these particular things do work for me, and I will try to find the Martha Stewart cheesecloth recipe if you're interested. It's a great way to make your turkey. Like I said, I've been doing it for years and years and years, and it sounded so gourmet-ish to me so many years ago, and I thought, I'm gonna just do that, and my gosh, it was just it was wonderful. And then learning to prepare my turkey ahead of time before the actual holiday, just a great step. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you have a very blessed, happy holiday. I hope you enjoy your family, your friends, and your food. And until next time, be kind, be humble, and age gracefully. Bye. Happy holidays.